large groups are able to gather, that's when they can coordinate and start to become a problem.
Yeah, that one line of police, doesn't obviously look like enough to contain this group. It's just interesting what the police strategy is going to be at this point, whether they try to surround them. I know that we had said earlier they're trying to get them to Druid Hill Park, but right now it looks like they're just blocking that one road and that's it. And it sort of begs the question, what's the strategy here to sort of stop this and shut it down, as we still see some cars driving through this area?
Yeah, and the police still have a presence up by Mondawmin Mall. That's where everything started, and they have not given up that presence. And maybe that's part of the strategy, is to hold on to the ground that they've managed to take, and then try to get some other units down here. Now, when we saw that police car that's at the top of your screen originally being vandalized, there was about 100 people, a little bit smaller group than this actually, but they were on the car, jumping up and down, taking things out of the car, busting it, and then out of nowhere, the tactical vehicle showed up, several police officers in the back of that, and that scattered the group. So you can see they're doing exactly what they were doing earlier. If they brought in the tactical vehicle right now, you would see that group scatter. As I look around the streets here, I'm not seeing that tactical vehicle anywhere right now.
All right, Captain Jeff, thank you. If we can stay on your pictures, we are going to speak live with Captain Eric Kowalczyk with the Baltimore City Police. Captain Kowalczyk, we are watching these pretty disturbing images for several hours now. Please tell us how police are going to try to shut this down.
So right now we're moving resources into the area. Our first obligation is to protect life. We need to protect the life of our officers that are out on the street, and then the people that live and work in that community. We had 7 of our officers that were attacked. They are seriously injured. We need to ensure that no more of our officers are attacked, and that no one else in that community undergoes the same sort of treatment. It's clearly, Saturday we saw a very peaceful protest and a small group of outside agitators that turned violent. You saw that incredible level of restraint from our officers. Today, this is a different thing. Our officers were attacked. They were attacked unprovoked. And right now, we're shifting our resources in to make sure that we're protecting everybody's life and doing everything we can to restore order.
What are the concerns for this evening once it gets dark? I know that we have even more police vehicles who are coming in from the county. We've just gotten word that Montgomery County is also coming in to assist. But what are your concerns as soon as things start to get dark, and what are you worried about?
Our first concern is always protecting the people that live and work in our city, and protecting the officers that are out on the street, making sure that people actually stay safe. We're going to continue to, this is a very dynamic situation, and so we're responding to what we're seeing. We're putting resources into the appropriate places, and as this event goes on, you're going to see us be better able to contain it as time moves on, so that we can start to effect arrests. We can take people into custody who are committing these lawless acts.
With all due respect, Captain Kowalczyk, right now we are watching live on North Avenue a group now breaking into a check cashing business, and it just seems completely out of control, and we see no police presence. I understand 100% what you're saying about protecting the officers and the citizens. When do you all, it's so frustrating to sit here and watch this for all our viewers and for us, just sort of happen. We saw some of this happen on Saturday night, and you all did your best to push them out and scatter. Is that sort of what has to happen here at some point, is that you get more officers down there and you're going to try to push them back?
Yeah, when we make movements, what you're seeing is that we have to get our officers together in an organized fashion, in a safe fashion, and then we move resources as a unit so that it's done safely, it's done smartly, and that we protect our officers and protect people as we're moving our resources. I understand people's frustration. We share that frustration. We want to bring this to an end as quickly and safely as possible for everyone in our community. This is not the Baltimore that we know. We've had 40 years of peaceful protests. We saw that on Saturday, and this is not that. This is a group of lawless individuals, and we're going to continue to shift resources so that we can effectively contain this situation. You know, one of the things that we put out this morning was the somewhat infamous picture now of the gentleman in the blue hoodie standing on top of one of our police cars who had smashed out the windows. We took him into custody this morning. Our detectives were able to use a lot of the evidence that was out on social media, find him and take him into custody. And for the people that are out there right now, breaking laws, destroying people's property, you're going to see the same sort of investigative response from us. We're going to find the people that are responsible and make sure that we're able to arrest them.
All right. Also, I know there was some frustration from people who saw the looting on Saturday. They said, isn't it the police's responsibility to protect city-owned businesses? There were a lot of store owners inside those businesses. That could also be the situation that we're seeing right here on North and Penn.
Yeah, and we understand that there is a balancing act that you saw on Saturday of preserving people's right to voice their First Amendment rights and engage in a peaceful protest, to when that shifts into those acts of violence that we saw Saturday night. Today is a different situation. We're moving resources as quickly as we can to be able to respond to the situation as it's happening, but we have to make sure, and I can't emphasize this enough, we don't want to see any level of unnecessary violence. We're using appropriate crowd control tactics. You're going to see us continue to use gas, pepper ball, and other means to bring about order, but we have to do it in a way that's responsible. We can't rush in. We don't want to put innocent people at risk. We don't want to put our officers at risk, and we certainly don't want to put the community at risk.
Captain Kowalczyk, our understanding was that Freddie Gray's family said, we don't want any protest. And obviously, this is not the same group of people necessarily that was out protesting before, but we anticipated today and tomorrow would be a day of calm. What are we looking at for the rest of the week? Is this something that you're worried and the department is worried is just going to continue through the rest of the week now? You know,
I don't want to even speculate about what the rest of the week looks like. We join in that call for calm. We don't want to see this happen to our city. Again, we have a proud history of being able to voice our concerns in a peaceful manner. This is not how Baltimore is. I heard while I was waiting for one of the interviews that there's someone calling for a human wall of people to stand between the protesters and downtown violence doesn't spread. That's the Baltimore that we know.
Absolutely. We also know there is a credible threat, a very serious one, against Baltimore City police officers from violent gangs that say they are going to take out law enforcement officers. Is any of the not the restraint, but any of the reaction that police are having also in response to that threat that you all are facing?
You know, we received that threat. We ran that threat through our criminal intelligence unit to determine if it was valid. Their investigative efforts determined that it was, in fact, a valid threat. We put it out to our officers so that they could take appropriate precautions, so that the agency could take appropriate precautions, and we sent that out to law enforcement nationwide. We don't want to see any officers injured through any acts of these gang members. We're going to continue to take appropriate precautions to keep our officers safe, but that's not going to stop us from protecting the people of Baltimore, from protecting the city.
We have thousands of people who are expected to attend tonight's Orioles game downtown, first pitch at 7:05. Right now, Camden Yards has closed the gates, but they have not yet called the game. What are your concerns about all the people and the families that are going to be headed downtown?
You know, there's an obvious concern for people's safety, and that's the message that we've been trying to emphasize over and over, that the first and highest concern for us has to be the safety of not only our officers, but the people that work and live in Baltimore. And right now, our focus is on protecting people. That's our first priority. As for anything else that happens the rest of the night, this is going to be a moving situation, and it's very hard to speculate about the next couple of hours.
Well, I know we had video earlier of one of your officers who was down on the scene closer to Mondawmin, and I know we had a report of an unresponsive officer. Can you give us an update on their condition?
I don't have an update on the condition right now. What we know is that 7 of our officers were attacked, and I use that word, they were attacked. They are in serious condition. They've been transported to area hospitals, and I'm waiting to get more information on their condition right now.
And any message, as we let you go back and do your job, to our viewers out there tonight and the people who live in this particular community?
You know, the Baltimore Police Department is going to do everything that it can to preserve the life and property of the people that live and work in that community and across the entire city. That is our solemn obligation to the people of Baltimore. It's what 3,000 people come to work every day to try and do, and that's what we're going to continue to do tonight.
And you also want parents to make sure that they have contact with their children.
Absolutely. The concern here is where are the parents of some of the kids that we're seeing out right now? That's a concern for us. We want to make sure that kids are safe. I mean, when you talk about protecting people, there's nothing more important than protecting children, and so we absolutely want to make sure that all the kids that are out there right now stay safe and aren't engaging in any sort of criminal activity.
Well, Captain Kowalczyk, as we're talking with you, we're watching live pictures of reinforcements coming into this area. We see several white vans. They are unmarked, pulling into the parking lot not far from where some of the crowds are gathered. It's more than a dozen. So it looks like reinforcements are here, and we will watch how it unfolds on TV. But thank you very much. We only wish the safety of all the officers out there tonight and all the citizens, the innocent citizens who are out there tonight. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you for letting us on. And I just want to say one last thing before we go. I do have to get out to a briefing. We are putting out information as quickly and as accurately as we can on our social media site. So if people are in the area, if they want live updates as quickly as they can get, obviously besides from you, if they follow us at Baltimore Police on Twitter, we're trying to put out information as quickly as we can. No,
it's fantastic. We're monitoring it every moment. Thank you so much, Captain Kowalczyk. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
We're going to go back to, or out to our own Marcus Washington, who's standing by live with Billy Murphy. Marcus, what's going on?
Right now, it's quiet here. Earlier today, this is the place where they had Freddie Gray's funeral here at New Shiloh Baptist Church. A far cry from what we've been seeing in the last few hours. People here were here to remember the life of Freddie Gray, and now we are dealing with this. I just spoke with Billy, the attorney for the Gray family, and he was saying that the family has been watching this on TV, and they're really not happy with what they're seeing on TV, and they really want peace. Take a listen to what he had to say.
The family is dead set against what they're seeing and hearing about violence. They know nonviolence is the only way to deal with this problem. We don't need to hurt innocent people, innocent police officers, because the majority of police officers are law-abiding. There are a few rotten apples that make the barrel smell bad, and it's not their fault. And that blue wall of silence keeps them from reporting the misconduct they see and helping the Department of Police itself. And we don't want them hurt. We don't even want the bad guys to be hurt. We want them to go to court and be hurt financially, but not physically. This is something that we need to come together as a community and get out in the streets ourselves and have peaceful marches to set an example for these kids. They don't know. They just don't know.
Does the family, are they aware of what's going on right now?
Yeah, they're glued to the television right now. They've heard, and they're in shock. The family is pleading with the community, especially the young people, because it's not the older folks, to get back in the houses and leave well enough alone. If they're going to protest, do it peacefully. If they can't be peaceful, go home. We don't need this. It's not good for the city. It's not good for the Freddie Gray family.
And that was Billy Murphy, the attorney for the Gray family, just saying that the Gray family would like peace in honor of their son who died about a week ago. So this is something that they're not happy to see, all of the violence going on TV right now. Where we are here at the church, it's been pretty quiet. A few kids came through here not too long ago. Some were throwing rocks. No one was hit. But definitely they're calling for peace tonight. Back to you.
Marcus, thank you. Commissioner Batts just said that about 1,000 officers being brought in. Baltimore County Police have now been called in. Montgomery County Police, Prince George's County Police, Maryland State Police has 42 troopers already there, planning on bringing an additional 40 in as soon as it gets dark.
And it's needed.
It is certainly needed. And as we mentioned at the top of this hour, several Maryland residents wondering when is the National Guard going to be brought in, if it will be brought in. We haven't heard anything from Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake or Governor Hogan regarding situation today. We're standing by. We've been monitoring all of these tweets coming from local government, Maryland's top brass, and nothing yet.
We're almost 3 hours into this situation that started about 3 o'clock right outside Mondawmin Mall. This weekend, there was a flyer circulating on social media telling high school students to meet at Mondawmin Mall. They were going to then march downtown. They called it a purge, which was based on this movie, Purge, where all law was lifted for a day. And what we saw is some students did respond to the area. Police were there already, waiting for them in their riot gear, and that seemed to agitate the crowd. I think a lot of students left that area. Some definitely did join in what we saw, which was throwing of stones and bricks, and the group dispersed and went around different parts of that area near Mondawmin Mall. And then in the last several hours, we have just seen this part of the city come undone. We've seen car fires, we've seen looting, we have seen violence, we've seen police cars smashed and burned, just complete lawlessness as what we saw, just a small bit of that on Saturday.
Now, Captain Kowalczyk was saying when we just spoke with him moments ago that their big concern tonight, of course, the people of Baltimore, but especially the children, and thousands of people expected to come down to Camden Yards this evening. Mark Viviano joins us on the phone. Mark, first pitch in just a little over an hour. Are they going to call the game? What's the plan?
Jessica, there's been no announcement of that at this time, and I want to let you know that anything that I share with you is just based on my observations and conversations. There's not been any official announcement other than they have closed the gates here at the ballpark with the exception of the home plate plaza gate. Anyone who tries to get into the ballpark is being directed to the home plate plaza to get in. There are a few fans who've made it in already. The Chicago White Sox are taking their batting practice now, though the Orioles themselves did earlier. Earlier in the day, I was in their clubhouse, and a number of the players were watching our television coverage on the clubhouse TVs, and many of them concerned about their own families who may have had plans to come down here to the ballpark. As of now, there's been no official announcement from the ball club relative to the start of this game, which is scheduled for 7:05. I can also share with you that the Commissioner of Baseball, Rob Manfred, is here. Now, this is a planned visit. He is new. He's the new commissioner. He's on a tour of ballparks, and this was scheduled. It just so happens to fall at a time when this city is undergoing a great deal of duress and disturbance outside of the ballpark. There are police in riot gear out near the Babe Ruth Plaza, where most of the trouble that neared the ballpark on Saturday took place. So the Baltimore police are certainly in position and in place. The gates are locked, but for a few. I'm standing right behind the home plate area and can see a Baltimore police helicopter up overhead. I can hear some sirens. Meanwhile, batting practice continues. It'll be a sparse crowd if there's a game at all. Again, no announcement on the status of this game at this time, Jessica.
Yeah, Mark, it's going to be very interesting because we're talking about thousands, and you know, that's a good point. Of course, the players have their families who are coming down. What an interesting perspective, too, that he's coming into the city for the first time. Camden Yards is such a beautiful place. Baltimore is a beautiful place.
It is.
And this is just, there are no words. I have no words to describe what we have been looking at, Mark.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, he's going to have to address it. I mean, this is a situation, and we spoke with Buck Showalter for his regularly scheduled press conference around 4 o'clock this afternoon, and he said he was certain that the Orioles, Major League Baseball, and the authorities are in conversation and will collaborate on any decision regarding this. And no doubt, the commissioner is scheduled to speak with us in about 5 minutes. No doubt that will be a major point of conversation. And we'll get what Major League Baseball's point of view is, because the commissioner of the league is here. And again, can't emphasize enough, this was a planned visit, and it just so happens to be coming at this time.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. Certainly lots of people on social media are saying cancel the game, keep people safe. We'll see what happens. And nothing like to have the commissioner to sort of stand by, make that call or stand by whatever decision the Orioles make tonight. But we will continue to monitor that and go back to Mark Viviano if a decision is made in the next few minutes. Right now, though, we want to go to Derek Valcourt. He is live at City Hall with the latest. Derek, we're still waiting to hear some word from Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake.
We have not heard from the mayor just yet. We have reached out to her, and we will continue to do so. This is the scene right back here at Lexington, at Fayette and Gay Street. You can see they have it blocked off, a lot of police presence around the area, and that is what we have seen throughout much of the downtown area. We've been taking pictures all afternoon. There has been SWAT teams preparing and going out to the different locations where the looting and the rock throwing, all kinds of activity has been. We've seen the police dispatch from here. There is a huge police presence around City Police headquarters. In addition to all of this going on, they've also had some credible threats, they say, of violence against officers by gang members. We reached out to Governor Larry Hogan. Governor Larry Hogan has not made a comment yet, but we are expecting a statement from the governor later on tonight. Again, at City Hall, there is quite a bit of police presence throughout the region. We are not seeing a lot of spectators down here, a lot of media. The good news is they were able to clear out much of the downtown area very early today. A lot of businesses let their employees go home early in anticipation that there could be potential problems with protesters tonight. But again, a lot of the streets in and around the downtown area are blocked. We've been hearing sirens all day long through downtown. Much of the traffic has left the city, so it's not a lot of activity, but we are starting to see them bring in more police officers near City Hall and City Police headquarters just in anticipation of any potential problems. Again, we are reaching out to the mayor's office, trying to get a statement from her, and also we are expecting a statement from Governor Larry Hogan later on tonight. Back to you.
Okay, that's Derek Valcourt live from City Hall. Transitioning now, Denise and I are here. We're going to continue talking with Derek. Derek, what exactly would you expect the governor to say at this point if there was some type of statement from him?
There were no doubt lots of questions in terms of what resources the state is going to be allocating right now to help Baltimore City Police. As you know, there are already a number of different police agencies helping out. We've seen Prince George's County, Howard County, State Police. They've all been involved in helping police try to contain the situation. Police need numbers here, a numbers game as they try to deal with these huge crowds of teenagers. A lot of people have asked the question, will at some point the governor consider activating the National Guard to help out? So those are all questions that no doubt the governor will be asked about later in terms of what kind of assistance the state can give the city as they deal with this problem today and who knows, perhaps again tomorrow and the day after.
Yeah, thank you very much, Derek. And now we're going to go to Captain Jeff Long, who's in Skytrop 13. Can you describe to us, Jeff, where you are and what we are looking at? I mean, obviously, a line of police officers where?
Yep, this is Pennsylvania Avenue. You can see the police officers advancing southbound towards North Avenue. This is the strongest and earliest, or the first movement that we've seen in the longest time. Now, we did see a huge convoy. In fact, there's another convoy coming down Reisterstown Road to Pennsylvania Avenue right now as I'm looking at it, and there's going to be several police officers with that. This group got together. They moved forward a little bit. Now, the intersection of interest is right here, North Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue. If you've been watching, you saw a lot of people gathering at that intersection. That's where the CVS is that was being looted. It's where two police vehicles, Maryland Department of Transportation vehicles, were torched, caught on fire. They both burned. And there's also just around the corner here to our left, there's another police car that was vandalized severely. Now, the group of people that were here caught wind of these police moving towards them. It appears as though they've gone in several different directions. Some of them have gone west on North Avenue, and you can see them there. Some of them moved southbound on Pennsylvania, but here's where the bulk of the crowd is right now. And there's more police officers there, so you can see we're going to work our way around there. They're throwing things at a group of police officers. Now, right here on North Avenue is also where they looted a checks cashed store. We don't know if they got anything, but we did see them break the glass. They went inside, several of them, dozens of them went inside and then ran back out. So this road over here, this is Retreat Street, and that crosses Pennsylvania and then comes down to North at an angle. And we saw a lot of the police officers parked in a parking lot over here off of Retreat, and then some of the police officers moved down Retreat Street towards North Avenue. So as we come around here, we may be able to get a look at those police officers lined up on Retreat.
Jeff, while you pause for a second, we just want to remind our viewers, anyone who's just tuned in, this is Eyewitness News at 6. Our extensive and extended coverage of the violence going on in different corners of our city right now continues now at 6. Now, those are officers, correct, Jeff?
There's the police officers we were talking about on the side of that church on Retreat Street, and they have moved and taken a position standing face to face with the protest, or the rioters, we'll call them, because that's what's happening here. And this is the first time that this particular group has, since they got to Pennsylvania Avenue, actually it's the second time that they've actually come face to face with the police. The other time was where they were destroying a police car, and the tactical vehicle moved into place. When police officers came out, everybody split. They spread out, but they regrouped, and they've pretty much taken over this intersection here near Pennsylvania and North Avenue. The CVS up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, looted severely. People taking things out of the back door, people taking things out of the front door. We saw people coming and going and coming and going for a very long time. Now this group here on North Avenue at Retreat Street, throwing things at that group of police officers that came down here to try to dispel this. They are among several other police officers that came from the Mondawmin area southbound towards North Avenue, and if we can get back over on the other side, we'll be able to show you where they are set up. There's a huge group of police officers, in addition to those you see right there, over about a block onto Pennsylvania Avenue, standing their ground, and they've been advancing. They advance about 5 feet at a time, so you'll see them stand still, and they advance a little bit further. So I got you there. So now they're advancing behind the CVS. So they've marched down Pennsylvania up to the CVS, and you can see a large group of them going behind the CVS. They may be trying to find another position, or there might even be some people back there, because we did see some people back in that alley coming out of the back door of the CVS.
You know, one of the things that's most disturbing about what's going on and where it's happening is that Mondawmin is an area that was on the rebound. You've got the mall there, new stores, that CVS, there are the block where we saw the check cashing store. These are all new businesses that have moved into the area. There's the Target, there are new shopping areas for grocery stores, and this is an area that was under transition and coming back. Even new housing being built there along Pennsylvania Avenue, and it's disturbing to see that what very well may be people who live in the area destroying their own neighborhood. Senator Pugh obviously saying a few minutes ago the parents should contact their kids, get their children home. But what we're seeing now, I think, is a lot less of high school students and children, and these are grown adults who are basically destroying this area.
I absolutely agree with what you're saying, Vic, and what's also tragic is that people, all the homes as we look down that we're seeing in these neighborhoods, there are people in these homes, and they must be frightened to death. And I think of something that was said by Congressman Elijah Cummings Saturday night. He said, if you know somebody down in that area, you know somebody who may be participating in this, use social media, use it as a tool, call them on their phone, text them and tell them, stop, go home. Stop.
Yes. Of course, the ground zero for coordinating all that's going on right now is Baltimore City Police Headquarters. Tracy Leong is outside there now. We heard a news conference a few moments ago, and I imagine there's much more to be said from people working there and trying to coordinate this entire situation. Tracy, what can you tell us?
Well, Vic, I can tell you I just spoke to Commissioner Anthony Batts. He says he's calling for officers all over the state to come and protect his city, which is on fire right now. If you take a look over my shoulder, you can see officers gathering. They've been coming in. We've just seen them minute after minute, officers rolling in. They're loading up in buses all the way down there. They're also loading up in cars. And Commissioner Batts is saying that right now he needs everyone to pull together and just spread out. He didn't say any clear direction of where they're heading. He said basically everywhere to protect them. We're seeing officers gearing up. They're grabbing their shields. They're grabbing all their riot gear. And basically, this is kind of where they're gathering in front of the police headquarters. And any minute now, I suppose they're probably going to be driving out through the city.
people in City Council asking that there be calm in the city. Bernard Jack Young, the council president, tweeted out just a few moments ago, "Please stop the violence. You're not honoring Freddie Gray's memory." His funeral was held earlier today. We heard from the attorney representing Billy Murphy, who